Welcome to the Harvest Bridge podcast. A part of our work here at Harvest Bridge is connecting local leaders in South Asia with people like you here in the United States. Through our podcast, we want to provide a place where you can hear their voices and listen to their stories in their own words. There is a transcription available for those who prefer to read these stories. In one of our earlier podcasts, we heard from Priya, who leads the Gate Ministry in Chennai, India. In that podcast, we heard the story of her unbelievable recovery efforts after a historic flood in Chennai. At one point, Priya, who cannot swim, was neck-deep in dangerous floodwaters, wading into a home to rescue a child who was trapped. In today's podcast, we will take a step back and talk more about the Gate Ministry, how it started, and the difference it has made. Before we talk about Gate, let's talk about Priya. Some of Priya's earliest memories as a child were riding on a motorcycle with her father, who was a church planter. She would travel with him to share the gospel and to help impoverished people. Despite the poverty of her own family, she found herself moved by the tremendous challenges specifically facing the Gypsy and tribal communities. Years later, she is still moved by their suffering.
I was so heartbroken to me. Oh, people are in the sun during the daytime, and in the rainy time, they are holding the small babies and sitting on the under the tree. Mm-hmm. So like that, breaking my heart when I see we have a good house, we have a from the all the suns and the rainy, but they don't have any places like that. I was really broken.
As you heard Priya share, the poverty faced by these communities breaks her heart. But it also planted a call in her from God to minister to these communities, providing both tangible help and the hope of the gospel. Priya said yes to this call, and that was when the Gate Ministry began. GATE is an acronym for Gypsy and Tribal Empowerment. It was one of the first ministries supported by Harvest Bridge. When it started, no one realized how big it would become.
So everyone the political people looks at, is fighting. They named me like Voice of Gypsies, political people say, look at me, Voice of Gypsies. Okay, nice name. So I like that. So I'm so happy and I'm so proud that when I started this small ministry, it's like very simple and no one respect me. Everyone look at me like what she's going to do, what she's a woman like that. But now God is always walking in front of me, opening all the doors. Already closed doors are opening. When I'm entering closer, so all the doors are opening, and Gate Ministry growing very good, and people are happy. They no more like slaves. They are going to be a freedom people. Yes. I'm so happy. Amazing. All that happiness when I think that.
A freedom people. That is the hope Priya has for the Gypsy and tribal community. People may have underestimated her, but God has been opening doors for Priya as she advocates for the people. The needs in the Gypsy and tribal communities are astounding. There are about 2,500 households supported by the Gate Ministry. They are below the lowest caste in India and have inadequate housing, extremely low-paying jobs, and food shortages. And although their ancestors have lived in India for thousands of years, they are not considered citizens or given full legal rights. What started with Priya's leadership 25 years ago has grown to include the support of a team of pastors and volunteers. They tutor children, provide food, and lead Bible studies and church services. When they began, the children who were in school could be counted on one hand. Now, about 75% of the children in the communities attend school. Priya's work has grown from emergency help to comprehensive, systemic changes. In 2014, she lobbied the government to provide land for a Gypsy community when they were forced out of their homes. She has facilitated government ID cards for hundreds of Gypsy and tribal families. This allows them to access basic services, open bank accounts, and even vote. Things once believed impossible for the Gate community are now a reality. Tangible help and hope. This is what Priya's ministry has meant to the Gate communities, but it didn't stop there. When Priya launched Gate, virtually none of the Gypsies or tribals were Christians. Through the patient, loving ministry of Priya, the pastors, and volunteers, spiritual fruit began to appear. Since 2008, 70% of the people have professed faith in Christ in 3 communities where Gate focuses the largest share of its efforts.
And that's very important.
Yes.
Before, none of them are Christian. Now they are changing day by day. Good fruits when we see the people are coming closer to God during the suffering times, during the happiness time, during the sickness time, during the painful happens in their family. So anytime they never left God. So they are following the Jesus. Yeah.
Your support makes it possible for Priya to continue this work. Harvest Bridge sends monthly support to Gate to help sustain evangelism and discipleship, as well as development and humanitarian activities. Grants for dozens of projects, including hand pump water wells, medical clinics, and disaster relief, have also been sent directly to Gate for additional support. Through your generosity, just in 2024, we have supported 10 income-generating projects in several Gate communities, and we hope to expand them. As we release this podcast in the fall of 2024, Harvest Bridge is partnering again with Priya to support relief efforts after another flood. Mosquito nets to protect the families from disease as they sleep outdoors, and food relief packets are being funded to meet the most urgent needs in the Gate community. This is part of the broader disaster relief efforts being conducted by Harvest Bridge as flooding has impacted areas across our ministry in South Asia. You can give to disaster relief efforts like these and to the Gate ministry on our website at harvestbridge.org/give. Finally, in addition to your support, we ask for your prayers for Priya, her team, and their ministry in India.
I ask everyone to pray for our Gate ministry to be more stronger. And I need your prayer support. Please help us and give your hands for prayers.
Thank you for listening to the Harvest Bridge podcast. Follow us on social media or subscribe to our email list to learn more about the ministry of leaders throughout South Asia who are doing much with little.